Hey guys, welcome back to TorquePowerVideo. Today we're going to do a torsion bar crank and ball joint flip on the old Isuzu here. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it to the races next weekend. My wife has convinced me that I should be helping them move my daughter back home for the summer from college. So I'll miss this race, but anyway, we're going to go ahead and move forward with it. And let's just go ahead and start getting some measurements for this thing and see where we're at right now. I'd like to lift the front at least about 1.5 inches so it'll sit a little bit more level. I just need more clearance for these tires, and I'll probably wind up cutting the fenders out anyway. But anyway, let's just get to the mechanical part of it first, which is cranking the torsion bars and flipping the ball joints. So I've already measured the other side. It was 33 1/4. And on this one, I'm measuring, basically getting a rough measurement to the radius of the fender lip there, and we're right on 33 1/4 on that one too. That's good. Up under the vehicle, you're going to want to look for these two bolts. There's one on this side and one on the other side. It's got some kind of little symbol on it right here. I don't know, yours may have that or it may not. I'm not sure what that is for. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to mark these so I'll know where I started at. I'm going to use a red or an orange paint marker for that. So you see I got my mark right there. All right, what I'm also going to do is I'm going to mark my socket so I'll know when it makes a full revolution. Just like that. And guys, you don't have to have the vehicle up in the air like this to do this job. You can actually do it with it sitting in your driveway. It just makes it a little easier to turn those adjustment bolts when the suspension is unloaded. So I'm taking advantage of the lift. So let's put this on there and get to cranking away. Now, from what I've been reading, one turn equals 1/4 inch of suspension adjustment. So let's see. All right, there's 2 turns, so that should equal about 1/2 inch. There's 4 turns. There's 4 turns, so that should be 1 inch. All right. Now let's go to the other side. Uh-oh, that one doesn't want to turn. Once again, a simple job. Oh boy, it's turned into a nightmare. Hyper tough for the win. I don't know if you guys have seen my torque test review on this hyper tough high torque 1/2 inch impact, but if you haven't, go back and watch it, because this thing is absolutely impressive for the money. Oh yeah, I got a little height there. That looks perfect. Passenger side actually looks a little taller. Let's measure and see. We are at 34 5/8. Let's go measure the other side. And let's see here. Oh, 34 1/2. That's close enough for me. I'm not going to worry about 1/8 of an inch, not on this thing anyway. So we started out at what, 33 1/4, is that what I said? 33 1/4. and I turned it each side 6 turns, and then we measured 34 and 5/8. So that's 1 3/8. So 6 turns of the torsion bars gave me 1 3/8 inches, which is close to what I saw on the internet. All right, now we got the wheels off. This is your upper ball joint, and what we're going to do is we're going to take the bolts out, and we're going to mount this ball joint to the underside of this upper control arm. Now there's some myths going around on the internet that doing this ball joint flip will get you some more lift. It won't. It will not ever give you any more lift. What it will do is it'll help correct some of your suspension geometry, because after you crank the torsion bars, everything droops down just a little bit. So if you'll take the ball joint and flip it onto the bottom of it, it'll actually allow the camber to get back to a normal-ish position and allow the upper control arm to go up, which will actually allow your suspension to droop down just a little further. Because if you're moving this up to here, then you're not going to be up against this hard stop as soon as you would if you just leave it like this. And that's really all it does, guys. So it's not really for more lift, it's just for helping your suspension work better. So let's get into it. We're going to clean all this mud and garbage off of this thing so it'll be a little nicer to work with. All right, if you're working on the ground, you want to get your floor jack or something. Take the load off of the suspension, because you've got to have this thing supported. Because if you take this loose without supporting this thing is going to actually, there's a lot of spring pressure there, so it's just going to want to fly down and probably hit you. Or I mean, I don't want to know what it could do to you, but I know it couldn't be good. So just make sure you support the lower control arm. All right, now there's going to be a nut on the bottom that connects to the bolt that goes through. So let's take these off. All right, that was easy enough. All right, and once you got the nuts removed, pull the bolts out. Oops, I forgot a step. I forgot, I got to take the ball joint loose. So get in there and remove the cotter pin. There we go. Now we'll have to loosen this nut. Let's get a little bit of lube on them dirty, rusty threads. Oh, yeah, it's not that bad. Good. All right, just loosen it up just a little like that. And we'll need to get it right there. Uh-oh, not there. There we go. Now we'll go ahead and remove the nut all the way. Well, you guys know what I'm doing here. Let me pause the video. All right, now we got the nut off, and we can pull the upper control arm up, and we can lift the ball joint right out. Now, what we're going to want to do is kind of clean this surface up best we can. Just clean all the gunk off of it. There we go. Now we're going to get the ball joint aligned there. And we're going to start reinstalling our bolts. All right, if you find yourself in the predicament that I'm in, see, I can't get the upper control arm to go down because the upper ball joint is kind of cocked into where it goes into the spindle. Let me show you how to get around that real quick. Just get yourself a ratchet strap. And I'm going to hook the spindle and hook it to the bumper. There we are. That looks good. Now, see if we can't. There we go. There we are. Now we're in place. Reinstall your nut. All right, so go ahead and tighten your upper ball joint nut to spec and install a new cotter pin, and you're done with this side. I'm going to go do the other side, but I'm not going to torture you guys with that. So when I get done, we'll pull it out. All right, guys, the last thing I'm going to do today is I'm going to pop the diff cover off and clean all that stuff out, and I'm going to let it sit overnight and let it air out. And I'll probably come in here with an air hose tomorrow and blow it out and make sure all those brake clean fumes are gone out of it. Apparently, welding where brake clean fumes are, well, one is flammable, but another is apparently it releases, I think, something called phosphine gas that can really mess you up. But you just play it safe. I want to pop this off and make sure it's aired out very well before I get in there and get welding. Oh. All right, guys, that's going to be it for today. I'm going to let that thing drain out and air out very well before I get to welding on it. But I did notice something on that carrier that I wasn't expecting. One side of it's almost closed all the way off, so it's going to make it kind of hard to weld. I may only be able to weld one side of this thing. So, but anyway, that'll be the next clip for you guys. Be tomorrow for me. See you in the next clip. Yeah, I need to grind that off right there. Well, those are about the ugliest welds I think I've laid down today. Well, all right, guys, that train decided it just wanted to go off the rails and not the cliff, so I rode it all the way out off that cliff. I died on that hill. This thing looks like crap. It's definitely not my proudest moment with the welder. If I had to rate this crap on a scale of 1 to 10, I'd give it a solid -5. So, but it's a cheap piece of crap car, and it's going to get beat half to death. So if it breaks, it just breaks. It ain't no big deal. So I'm going to put the diff cover back on and fill the diff with lube, and we'll roll it outside and see what it looks like. All right, guys, there she is. It's not a monumental difference, but it sets a whole lot more level. It's a little bit exaggerated right now because it's sitting on the side of a hill, but I'm happy with it. Now, I know a lot of you guys are probably freaking out saying, oh my God, he welded the diff. Oh, he was grinding in the differential and got stuff all in the bearings. But with this thing, it really doesn't matter. If I was doing this for a trail rig that I was really going to be using long term, yeah, I'd have taken a little bit more time. I'd have taken a little bit more care. But this thing, it is what it is. If it makes it past the first race, then I'm going to be surprised. When I say race, we don't race like door to door, side by side. We race timed events, and it's pretty rough. I mean, there's a few jumps and hill climbs, and you know, it's pretty fun. Go back and watch one of my Carolina Crawlers race day videos if you want to kind of see what we'll be doing with this thing. And next thing, I've got to get a handle on the drivability issues. Last video that I made on this one, which was the first one, I thought I had it whipped. I really did. I was all full of myself and everything, and I closed out the video and I was like, all right. So then I decided, well, I'm going to go take it for a test drive. And this is where the story gets really interesting. And for you guys that are still hanging around, you're in for a treat for this story. All the people that's already checked out, whatever. Anyway, I got in this thing and took it down the road, and I made it about a half a mile down the road and it just shut off. It didn't want to start back for nothing. And the funny part about it is, there's a fella that lives down the street that years ago, I blessed that poor guy out over just something just stupid. I mean, it really was stupid, but whatever it was, I can't even remember, but it wound up just hitting me the wrong way, whatever, that day. Anyway, so when this thing broke down, it broke down right in front of that guy's house. You can't make this up, man, you can't. So he just sitting there just staring at me. And his kids are playing in the yard, so imagine what that looks like. Some guy sitting in a vehicle on the side of the road watching his kids play in the yard, which I mean, I really wasn't, but I mean, I'm sure that's what he thought. So he said, "Can I help you?" and I said, "Man," I said, "I just broke down. I'm sorry. I said, I'm just trying to get this thing restarted." And he said, "Well, all right." So I tried and tried and tried to get it started. Never would start back up. And the guy wound up still being one of the nicest people you could ever meet, because he said, "Well, here, man, just roll it over here in my yard and go get your truck and come back and pick it up." And I said, "Well, all right." I said, "Okay, I'll be back in a few minutes." So I proceeded to start walking up the road, and he said, no, man, come here, hop in the car." Dude gave me a ride to my car. Be nice to your neighbors, guys, because, I mean, you know, one little insignificant thing, it really don't matter in the grand scheme of things. So thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.